Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Detect and Correct, which is the initiative taken by Leo Club of University of Colombo, linking two platforms, YouTube and RSNs, the official newsletter of Leo Club of University of Colombo, to talk about and discuss about crucial and debatable topics at heart. Today, once again, we have a very experienced specialist with us joining here today. We are pleased to have time to interview our guest speaker today, Lieutenant Commander Dr. 𝐾𝐞𝐭𝐞𝐜𝐭, Clinical Psychologist, Sri Lanka Navy. Also, she is a visiting lecturer at the Department of Psychology in University of 𝙊𝙧. Moreover, she is a very well experienced guest speaker in many events addressing modern context through psychological perspectives. So let's warmly welcome Dr. 𝐾𝐞𝐭𝐞𝐜𝐭. Good evening, madam, and how are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing okay. And I need to do a small correction. I'm not working for Sri Lanka Navy currently. I worked with Navy earlier. Currently, I'm a full-time academic at the University of 𝙊𝙧, but still I belong to Navy. I'm on leave. So that correction has to be made. Right. So I'm doing fine, I would say, but there are so many other issues around us as usual. So, right.
Yeah, wonderful. And madam, we are going to talk about the relationship failure of the young and its effect on their life, on your perspective. And before that, just to talk about your background of being an experienced licensed clinical psychologist. Could we just talk about that background?
Okay, so it's a long journey, I would say. So I did my first year, like my first degree, bachelor's in psychology from 𝙊𝙧. Then I did my master's again in 𝙊𝙧 in organizational management. In 2010, I completed my MPhil in clinical psychology, where I could get the license from Sri Lanka Medical Council to practice as a clinical psychologist. Until such time, I was an academic at the university as well as other places in the country. And then after I completed my MPhil clinical psychologist in 2013, I joined with Navy to practice as a clinical psychologist. Then I got the Commonwealth Scholarship to pursue my PhD in UK. So I completed my PhD in UK and returned to Sri Lanka in 2018. Since then, I have been working for Kothalavala Defence University as well as University Hospital. And recently, I joined with 𝙊𝙧 University as an academic. So now I am a senior lecturer there. So I have been practicing as a clinical psychologist since 2010 officially, but I would say after I obtained my first degree in psychology, as I had some counseling background, I have been practicing since then. I would say I have been working with thousands of clients in different ages with different issues. So I hope that with my experience, I can share something with you today, which you can take some message from that.
Thank you, ma'am, for that brief introduction about you. So to get the start to our conversation today, ma'am, first I would like to know from your perspective, how do you define love?
Yes, love is something, a deep feeling about someone else. So that is the very simple definition we can give. Usually, love start from passionate, and it can evolve or it can be converted to compassion if the relationship lasts long. And a lot of people confuse love with attraction, but we need to really distinguish these two concepts. Some people attract to someone and then think I'm loving that person, and they define it as love, and finally they know that the fact you get attracted to that person is no more there, then there is no love. That's why a lot of relationship breakups after some time, because they have been attracted to a person for some reason. It could be because you are with that person almost every day and eating together, working together, going to uni, faculty together, sitting in the same decks in the university. So this is what we call like proximity. When there's a proximity, you get attracted to someone, but that doesn't mean you love someone else. So maybe this reason for attraction, physical appearance or the voice or some other like-mindedness. So you can get attached to another person because of these reasons, but it doesn't mean a love. Love is a very deep kind of connection with someone else. And if you define this socio-biological perspective, it says it's a trick. It's a trick on human being to maintain the species or something like for the reproduction or the sustainability of the humankind. So different people have different definition. We don't have fixed definition for that. But I need to emphasize that don't confuse love and attraction. These two are two different things, and a lot of people get it wrong.
Right. So, ma'am, you pointed out that young people get confused with love and attraction.
Yes.
And it is an unavoidable natural phenomenon. So,
Yes,
how would you
definitely.
see this and its psychological importance?
Yes. So if you talk about this attraction or love towards someone else, this starts somewhere in early puberty, pre-puberty, and like start from there. You get attracted to opposite sex. I won't say it's only opposite sex. It could be same sex, whatever, depending on your sexual orientation. So you get attracted to someone else because of the one part is psychological, the other part is biological, the other part is sociological. So if you talk about biological aspect, so we all know that with the puberty, you start releasing hormones. So with the hormones, there are so many changes happen inside your body as well as outside your body, right? You know that your physical like changes happens in your body, and within you also there are hormonal reactions, and this will attract the sexual, like we would say opposite sex, but don't take it wrong. It couldn't be opposite sex always. It could be the same sex, right? So the biological aspect is that. Psychologically, this is the time we set our identity. You identify yourself as a different human being. With your identity, you need someone to love, and you need love at this age. So you seek for relationship. Usually, it's true. Your parents are always with you, and they love you so much, but still you need someone special for yourself. The social aspect is nowadays, most of the time, my friend has a girlfriend, my sister has a boyfriend, something like that. Everybody has a relationship. Why shouldn't I? So that is also one reason for some of these people to start a relationship. And it is socially like, I have seen girls, they think like not having a boyfriend is kind of like a failure, or they will be cornered, and friends will start telling you are not smart enough to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So that is the social aspect. But somehow these three concepts or three aspects come together to make someone start loving or start this relationship, and this is unavoidable, as you said very correctly. This happens automatically. Somebody suppress it. We have seen a lot of like teenagers, they don't show this, they just suppress it because of parents or school and so many things, but it might come up in different ways. So this is totally natural, normal phenomena, but there are so many other issues around that. We need to talk about those issues. Actually, not loving, it's not a problem. It's needed, right? It is needed, and it's a normal thing. If you are a normally healthy teenage, starting a relationship is quite normal. But the problems around it, actually, we have to manage them.
So, ma'am, yes, on that key note of that psychological, biological, and social aspect of love, We see some lot of our youngsters actually they have the tendency of only running into a relationship rather than actually taking time to make sure whether they have chosen the correct partner to their lives and other aspect as well. So with this intention, especially young people easily fall in love and initiate love affairs, as you said. And what are the factors we need to be aware on this? And is there any approximate age category? And what should be our choices in selecting a partner?
Yes. First of all, if I am going to choose someone to my life, I should know who I am first. If you haven't defined yourself, don't look for a relationship, because you don't know what you want, you don't know what you like, you don't know what you are going to do in the future. Basically, if you don't know who you are, then you shouldn't start a relationship. I wouldn't say there is a specific age, but if you talk about, like, we expect at least like 16, then you know who you are and your person in psychological perspective. By 16, a person will establish their personality. Then you are unique, and you know these are the unique features of myself. So 16, I would say, but again, I don't want to limit this to 16 and above, but uh, in general, like, perspective, I can say 16, where you know who you are, but there are people like 40, 80, 60, still don't know who they are, but generally we assume. So the first one is you should know who you are before you find someone else to your life. The second most important thing is you should able to, like, make right decision. You should be in a position to make a right decision, right? We usually call a decision to be informed decision, right? Just not because of others are having relationship, not because this boy is coming behind me, not because of this girl is chatting with me. That doesn't mean that I have to love that person. So you have to make an informed decision. The other most important thing is, in a relationship, you need to know whether this person can add any value to my life, or whether this person is taking certain things from my life, right? So what this person can add to my life. So some parents are dead against about having relationship while doing A level. So some, but we have seen that having a relationship sometimes help these girls and boys to do their academic work very like a productive way, because they are helping each other, and sometimes they are motivating each other. That's really good, right? So that means that person can add some value to you. Sometimes they are there to listen to you, they are there to share your emotions, they are there to look after you, and that person will, like, stand by your side. That is really important. So if you feel like this person is this nature, I think that is also one indicator. But at the beginning, we know that a person will show all these characteristics, but with the time, that will change. So if you are starting a relationship at early age, always, like, keep the distance. If something goes wrong, you should be able to go back and find yourself again. Now, what happens is, when they start the relationship, they don't know where they are heading. They go into very intimate relationship within very short span of time. And sometimes when they realize this is not the right person, they are too late. So actually, today I had to handle a case, a girl who's a university student. I don't want to say which university and from where she is coming from. She has never been in a relationship until she passes her A-levels and everything. Then she started a relationship with a guy. She doesn't know who this guy, and he doesn't have the same academic background or anything. Then somehow they have gone into intimacy, and she got pregnant. She is a university student, and then with the parents' involvement, they have insisted that they want to marry. Then she got married to this boy. After 1 month, this boy has started, and his family has started rejecting her. Now, after 1 month of marriage, been 4 months pregnant, now she is going for a divorce, right? So that's how it can happen, because she relationship has started in April. She is now 4 months pregnant. Can you imagine how fast the process is? So that is the problem. So that's why we can't say the age. She has started her relationship, I think, in 20, she was 21 or 22 when she started. So it is not the age, how intelligent you are. Intelligent doesn't mean the IQ. So how socially intelligent you are, how you can like understand what you want and what would be your future. Those things you need to consider before you start a relationship. And in our local context, especially without parents' blessing, usually you can't have a successful relationship. You can look at that as well. And I don't say like it is a must, but if they give their blessings, that is easy for you. Otherwise, you have to fight. You have to fight always with your parents. And then if you happen to like select between parents and the partner, then there is again a problem. And that will lead to problems in their marital life also if they get married. So this is a very crucial decision, and you have to make this decision with your wise mind. So in psychology, we have three different minds. One is emotional mind or emotional brain, where only like actually in this teenage, they are very emotional, they are very impulsive. They tend to make a lot of emotional decisions, but that is also wrong. The rational brain always say no to most of the emotional things. So those people will not start a relationship at all. They will suppress all their needs. Wise mind or wise brain is the middle, where you consider emotions as well as the rational part of the life, and you make a wise decision. I would say you need to make a wise decision when you pick a person.
That was indeed a very deep explanation, ma'am. And moving on to our next question. When love affairs get broke up, only few people we have seen that they are moving forward in their lives without causing any interruptions. But most of our youngsters become desperate and they get very depressed. And we would like to hear from your advice. How can youngsters overcome such situations?
Yes, actually, the people who overcome this problem are their personalities are strong. Maybe they have experienced good love and care from their parents and from teachers, and they know this is not my problem. But most of the people who develop depression, they don't develop depression just because they lose that person or lost that person. That is how you perceive yourself. You think you are helpless, you are worthless. Oh, I can't find love anymore because this person has left me. So that is your perception about the world. So you feel like you've been rejected, you've been like neglected, or you think you will not able to find another good person. I am a bad person. I am not sufficient. I am not good enough. Those negative thoughts actually lead a person to depressive episode. So definitely there is this thought behind that. This is something about me. But to be honest, if some relationship break up, there can be so many reasons. They themselves figure out that we can't continue this. There are problems. Or that partner is not suitable. That partner needs something else which you can't do or which you can't give. So you shouldn't like go behind such a person, right? So that is another reason. And main reason is our teenagers, youngsters are lacking their coping mechanisms. I have seen in the university community as well as in other youngsters, when they start a relationship, they stop all other connections. They stop talking to friends, they stop enjoying with the family, they stop all the other extracurricular activities. This becomes their life. right? You may have seen in the university when this university couples are there, they two are always together, but they don't spend their time with the other people. They don't usually engage in other activities most of the time. So when the relationship break up, they have no other way to be happy. So you have put all your eggs in the same basket. When the basket is broken, you have nothing to be happy. So you are detached from your parents, you are detached from your friends, you are detached from your hobbies, you are detached from your academic work sometimes. So that is also one reason. So, but if a person has this vulnerability of developing depression in your system, maybe genetic predisposition, or if you have previous failures or some other issues in family, that can easily like contribute to this depression, like having this kind of background and having a relationship breakup. If these two meet together, the possibility of developing a depressive episode is very high. Another reason, like, yes, even I might go through a depressive episode after a breakup, but if I have a balanced life after that, if I go back to normal life, I will come back very soon. But most of these people, they restrict themselves to this depressive lifestyle, and then they can't overcome that. So that is the reason. So you need to have a lot of coping skills to overcome this problem, and you need to lead a normal life despite this problem, and you should start like looking after yourself. So then they won't develop depressed, but otherwise it will end up with depression episode or some other devastating thing. We know what is happening in the country when they break up. They can either do harm to themselves or they can do harm to other people as well if you can't control your emotions.
So self-love is important, isn't it, ma'am?
Very important. Very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, right. So now moving towards the final note, all the things that we talked uh, as a young people, how would we prioritize our prime concerns in this age period? What is your final advice to our young people?
Right. So I would say if you have a good if you have a good partner, okay to maintain the relationship. As I said, there are some red flags in your relationship. If you identify these red flags, please don't continue this relationship. Because some relationships are toxic, right? Some relationships are toxic. So if you identify those are toxic, please discontinue the relationship, no matter how far you have gone with that person. Especially if that person is limiting your freedom, if that person is insulting you or intimidating you, or if that person accept you as you are, those are the red flags, right? If there's any physical violence, if there is any kind of hurting emotions, those things are also red flags. So those, identify them and judge, or you need to re-evaluate your relationship if you have a relationship. Otherwise, to this age, I'm not going to give an advice just like an adult not to have relationship or anything, but your priority should be like whatever you do should in line with your future goals, right? By this time you have your future target, you know what you want to do and how you want to contribute to the community and to the world, and how you are going to pay back to the community. So uh, focus on those things, right? While you are focusing on those things, if there's someone who can like help you and who can walk with you, who can like hold your hand and go the same journey, you are blessed with a good relationship, right? If it is not, don't go for this relationship just because others are having relationship, just because you need someone, something like that. There are a lot of friends, so you can be with friends and you can explore other things. So those things are there. Don't go for this trend. A lot of people are go behind the trend, and if you are in a relationship, make sure your emotional brain also control to certain. You can't be impulsive. Always think twice what would be the consequence of this behavior. Anything, right? So it could be sexual intimacy, it could be another commitment, it could be whatever, right? So you have to listen to your rational and wise mind as well.
That's true, and that's truly understandable. And so that self-love as the key factor, and identifying who you are and what you want is significant to move forward, isn't it, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes. So with that, we have come to the conclusion of our discussion, and thank you so much, Dr. 𝐾𝐞𝐭, clinical psychologist, for accepting our invitation and sharing your valuable thoughts with us, and importantly for enlightening our youngsters with the amount of knowledge, especially I think to everyone out there, because it is one of the most common things that people do go through. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. Right.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on yet another episode of Detect and Correct. Join us again for another episode of Detect and Correct. Until then, stay safe.